Okay, I had a subscriber send me some information. Plugs and oil analysis. You'll find my used spark plugs that were just recently changed, along with 2 used oil analysis I have had done on my used engine oil. I also enclose virgin oil analysis of Redline 0W20, and I'm using now and plan to in the future. I was thinking that a spark plug reading condition video, maybe of use, general info on the car. It's a bit verbose, but it's better to have more info than not enough. 2008 Ford CVP, owned since 2013, with about 46,000 miles. 84,648 miles at the time of the spark plug change with the OEM SP405, which is the AGSF 22F M1 fine wire platinum. I was getting a OBD2 P0306 code cylinder 6 misfire. Had the plugs changed with the OEM replacements, along with a set of MSD blaster coil-on plugs. I recently had an oil filter changed at 84,601 miles and was running Mobil 1 annual protection 0W20 for several years with the OEM FLA20, but now using Redline 0W20 with Ford Racing CM-6731-FLA20 oil filter. I change that once a year as I drive 3,000 miles or less per year. I recommend doing 2 oil changes a year. I know people are set on this once a year stuff. Oil additive has a life. 2 times a year is optimal, even if you're not hitting a certain mileage. Every 6 months. Mass airflow has been changed, unfortunately not with OEM replacement part. I do mostly city driving with some freeway. I use E85, 70% minimum ethanol content. At least that's what the sticker on the pump says. For the same, I use E85, for the same name brand gas station. I occasionally use Shell V-Power Nitro Premium for the Ford recommended regular fuel every 3,000 when using E85. That's what I always tell people. I don't like E85. You got to run regular fuel in it every once in a while. Some people call it pickling. I don't necessarily care for it. Unless you're running some kind of performance application, E85 to me is a waste of money. Additionally, I use half a bottle of Redline SL1 complete fuel system cleaner, along with a can of 16 ounce of gum out multi-system tune-up every tank full, probably overkill. I had the shop that changed the plugs save them. I didn't ask for the plugs to be numbered as to which cylinder they came out of, so I don't know which cylinder they came out of. I was expecting a uniform brownish tint on the center of the electrode insulator and normal wear on the electrode. What I saw was half of the center electrode insulator was brown tint and the other half was a black light carbon tint. Up until the cylinder 6 coil-on plug issue, the car was running absolutely perfectly. Curious if in your experience these plugs look normal for a 462 valve. Feel free to use these plugs and this info, except my name, address, and contact in a video if you choose to make one about this. If you need any more info, please feel free to contact me. Your content and info are very useful, much needed, and keep coming. Alright, let's dig into this real quick. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go get my gapper. Let's check the plugs and let's go over the oil analysis. He included a picture of his vehicle. Very nice ride. Very clean inside that engine. Very nice ride, sir. Very impressed with that. Very clean, not too much. Perfect. Love it. Let's pull out these plugs. I did previously look at these, even though none of them were marked, and I was able to verify which one I think cylinder 6 was. See this? We'll leave this one for last. I'm going to put that one off to the side over here. I made some markings on suspect ones that I may be interested in. I put a 2 on here for this is the second possibility I figured. And these other ones were all same condition. They look dry, but that's the E85 for you. Nothing really looks wrong with them. Looks like everything's burning clean. It's just that alcohol, you know, it's the alcohol content. That's why I really don't like E85. Some people like it, I don't care for it. A lot of plugs look just like this. Check the gap. Close, a little much. This one's at 60 thousandths. I don't care for that too much. I like to be a little tighter than that. Not terrible though, but also on the edge of definitely needing to be changed. This one is closer to where I'd like it to be. This one's about 56 thousandths. Same color as the other one. Same condition color-wise as the other one. Okay, so now we're getting some better numbers. 54 thousandths. I like 52, 53, 54. Same color, same condition. Kind of dry looking. This one's a little bit wetter. Probably burning a little bit better, not so dry. I like this one. This one's a little bit better color, but none of them are bad so far. Yeah, see, this one's right at. See where this one stops. There's 60, there's 50. This is right about 53, 54. Little bit wetter, but they're telling me what I'm seeing here is, when I say dry, I mean this dry white looking, almost as if there's just no, how do I explain it? How regular spark plugs with regular fuel have this nice, just very light, very chocolatey sheen, very kind of dryish chocolatey with just a little sheen to it, real nice clean, and how these are kind of like dry from the E85. They all look the same though. They have all the same flame front burn pattern, the same brown mark right here on the porcelain, and the same color to the end of mix up. A couple of them are a little bit darker. I like to see just a little bit more color. This one was way off. This one was a possibility that I didn't know where to fit it. I may have got this one mixed up with cylinder 6, but this one has all the way up here to 62 thousandths. So this plug's a little, this might have been suspect. I might have put the wrong plug in that box. I'll have to find out. $55 thousandths. Nice, clean, same coloration and firing pattern as the other one's, a little bit wetter, not so dry. I like this one. This one doesn't look bad. Now, I put a number 2 on this for a reason. Here's the reason why. This one has 64 thousandths gap. That's definitely going to cause a misfire, or could cause a misfire. That right there that's an issue. Same color, nice clean burn, but the gap is pretty large on that. And this one is almost 64, 65. See if I can turn this where you guys can read it a little better. Probably going to still read backwards. And it's even got a drier look than the other one. It's got a little bit of a chunky look. If you look at the ground strap, electrode and stuff, it looks like this was probably misfiring a little bit. That's why I put like the permanent marker all over the porcelain and stuff, because this is the one that looks like suspect to me. And it's way out of spec. Alright. Clean burning. don't see anything wrong with the way it's burning at all. Looks like E85 plugs to me. Alright, so we've got, this is Redline 0W20. Look over here. Redline 0W20. And it has, this is unused. And there's a note from Blackstone Labs that says don't mind the 2 parts per million of the, or it says don't mind the 2 parts per million of iron, as it's common to have trace amounts of metal in virgin oil, perhaps coming from transport, or like silicon is notable, since it can also show dirt in our testing, but in this case it's just part of the anti-foaming properties of the oil, so we'll account for it. There's plenty of moly, which along with phosphorus and zinc serves as anti-wear, so does boron. The viscosity for the spec of 0W20 and the viscosity is in spec for 0W20, and the 8.0 TBN shows the oil has plenty of active detergent and dispersant additive to handle the long haul. Now when we go over the numbers, this is a virgin one. Again, this has not been run in an engine. Molybdenum, 493. Good number. Boron, 176. Another good number. Some people argue boron is a better additive than molybdenum. Magnesium, zinc, phosphorus, those are all high because it's unused. And the sus viscosity at 210 degrees Fahrenheit is 55.2 right here on the bottom. TBN of 8.0. Alright, that's going to be our control. Let's move forward. This is Mobil 1 annual, 1,841 miles on it. There's a note on here. Trends are developing nicely for the Crown Vic. You used a shorter interval than the first sample, and wear metals responded by decreasing. Metals remain in a good balance and are reasonable levels for 1,840 miles of oil used. The V8 is still wearing well. Molybdenum, boron, and sodium down to zinc differ quite a bit from the first sample, and that's fine. Those are additive elements. Brands use different levels of them, and it's okay to have more or less of them. The TBN is strong at 4.7, and no contamination is present. Great report. Now, let's look at this one versus the other. This was, hold up, wait a minute, and then we're going to fast forward to all of my screw up, because I didn't realize there's actually a paper with 2 oils on one page. 5W30 full synthetic Ford oil with 35,550 miles, and then there's Mobil 1 annual performance with 1,840 miles or something like that on it on the same page. Oh, I'm not looking at this right. I see what I did here. This is Ford at 3550. And this is Mobil at 1840. So, aluminum with the Ford is lower. Iron with the Ford, no. I'm confused here. Oh, I see. One of these tests was done all the way back in 4/2 of 2015. I see. So the Ford has more zinc. Ford has pretty much the same amount of boron, considering it had twice the amount of miles. It's a little bit lower. Well, boron in Mobil is 130. Boron in Ford is 82. Molybdenum at 1,840 miles in Mobil is 61. Molybdenum in Ford at 33,550 is 15. The iron count is a little higher in the Ford one, 21, which is kind of high. Iron in the Mobil is 6. You don't want anything more than 14, they're saying, as an average. So Motorcraft has a higher zinc but a lower molybdenum. Motorcraft has a decent amount of boron. It has higher sodium, higher calcium, way less magnesium, higher phosphorus, 56.3 under viscosity breakdown versus the 56.2 with Mobil with half the mileage. So Ford did pretty good there with twice the amount of miles. Viscosity, so flash point 380 for both of them. A little bit lower than what you'd want. It says greater than 385. Whatever filter was run with the Mobil did better at 0.1, but that was only at 1,840 miles. And the filter that was with the 3550 Ford full synthetic is 0.4, which is just under the insoluble average number, which is less than 0.6. So it's under, but it's a little bit higher than whatever filter was on with the Mobil. So I would say to take away from this, the regular Mobil stuff is maybe just right at the same when it comes to the overall quality, but Ford has a little bit more of those supporting additives like sodium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and zinc. Ford has higher levels at twice the amount of miles. Pretty impressed with that part. So it makes more sense now on what I'm looking at. So I would say the Ford oil is just as good as the Mobil from ConocoPhillips, if not better. And the control was the Redline, which was brand new. So, what do I think? I think you're doing great. Really see nothing wrong with your plugs. They wear out, the gap grows, gets larger as you put miles on the vehicle. That's what happens. See nothing wrong with this at all. I'm not a Mobil fanboy, although the numbers look kind of low overall compared to how they market themselves. If it was me going between the Ford full synthetic and the Mobil, I would go with the Ford full synthetic, to be honest with you. But that's just me. Nice ride. Seems to be running in great condition, and it makes sense why cylinder 6 had the misfire with that large gap. Especially the other one as well that had the 60-some thousandths gap. There's like 2 or 3 of them. Anyway, thanks for letting me do the review. If anybody else wants to, if you want to send me your spark plugs, have me look at them, gap them for you, send me your oil analysis and go over it and stuff, I'll be glad to do that. But when it comes with from a shootout, Ford oil versus Mobil oil, they're almost identical. One has a little more than the other. Ford has a little bit more supporting, I guess you could say, supporting additives. With the silicon, sodium, calcium, magnesium, blah, 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 blah. So I would probably tend to choose Ford. But that's me. Y'all take care. Be blessed.